G'day, welcome back to Love This Ride. I'm Gary Worrell. Well, have a look at this. Isn't it a beauty? Another Monaro. Now, this one belongs to Pat Hughes. It's got a special story all of its own. But don't let me tell it. Why don't we find Pat and get him to tell us all about it?
So, Pat, this beautiful 1969 Monaro, I understand it's been in the family for a very long time. Now you're the custodian. What's the story?
Yep. So my uncle bought it in 1974. He had it for 44 years, and then 2 years ago I bought it. So it's been with us for 46 years now.
Now, this is an absolutely sensational colour, but it's not actually a factory GMH colour.
No, it's just what my auntie liked at the time, about 25 years ago when he last repainted it.
This isn't the first time it's changed colour either.
No, originally it was silver mink with the black interior, and then they changed it to bright orange, as you do in the mid-70s. Then that started peeling off, and it became the family car again, so it went to green and gold.
These gold inserts and trims, they are absolutely sensational. And that was just your auntie decided that's what she liked.
I believe so, yeah. Likewise, my uncle wanted a HG bonnet, so he put that on.
I understand silver mink, though. That's actually a bit of a sort of like a go-to colour for the Holdenites.
Yeah, I'm told Monaro fans particularly, they reckon silver mink, black interior, that's just the go-to, that's what you want. It's the most desirable you can get.
Now, one of the more interesting things about this car, everybody wanted a V8, but this isn't. This is actually a 186, I believe.
Correct, yeah. It's a 186S with the 4-speed Opel and a 3.66 to 1 diff. So it cruises really well at 100k. I get 10k to the litre fuel economy, and it still goes really well.
Now, I was going to say, funny you talk about fuel economy because this is your almost everyday drive.
Yeah, in 2 years I've done 10,000 miles. I haven't really tried at all. It's just sort of happened. I used to take it to work once or twice a week, and just weekend car as well.
Pat, the seats, they look absolutely gorgeous. Have you had to do much work on those?
I've had the front seats recovered. Bits of them are still original, and then obviously new padding, the frames had to be repaired. They were quite worn out. It's just a bit of a weak point in the design, but the back seat is totally original. It's still got the cracks from the sun across the top, and door trims are all original as well. The dash pad's about the only new thing.
And was it hard getting these parts? I mean, we're talking about a car that is now over 50 years old.
It's not too bad. There's a few bits and pieces that are hard to find, but if you sort of find the right channels, you can usually get them. The hardest part is normally just getting it into an upholsterer, because they're all really busy.
Does that generally go for the rest of the car, that you're still able to find parts fairly easily?
Yeah, reasonably, as long as you're prepared to pay.
Your uncle's had the car for 44 years before you got it.
I asked him why he bought it, and he said he just saw it at a second-hand car dealer at Springwood one day. Doesn't know why he bought it, but he just wanted that. My grandfather, he had a Cameo Gold HK 186S as well, and my father and uncle, they grew up in the backseat of that. So at the time my uncle bought this, my grandfather had gone to a HQ Monaro, and I think Monaros have just been in the family, and that's what he wanted.
And you're continuing the tradition.
Yeah, it's pretty special being the third owner having one, especially at 24. I know it was sometime in early 69 they built it at Sydney, and then after that, the first 5 years is pretty much unknown.
Okay. Now, what about the future? What got any special plans for it?
Pay it off. Yeah, at the moment it's just preserving it and leaving it how it is as much as I can. I'd rather drive it than have to restore it for 12 months. So while it's still reliable, it hasn't got rust in it. So if I can keep it that way and look after the paint, it'll look after me. Lots of thin spots in the paint, so I'd like to get that touched up periodically where I can. Just keep looking after it and do little fiddly bits here and there.
Now, what's the car like to drive?
It's a typical 60s car. I reckon it's pretty good. The steering and handling is exactly what you'd expect though. But for me, I quite like it. And you can get out of it after a long day, and it's still, you want to get back into it.
I believe it's got a little bit of a special steering box.
So they had a power steering box as a GTS special. That just meant they were a bit more responsive than a normal standard car. It also means you have a bit heavier steering though. I don't seem to notice it, which is good, but I've never really compared it to a different model.
The rim, they've been on the car untouched for what, 46 years?
Yeah, so that was probably one of the first things my uncle did do. It was chuck a set of jelly beans on. And again, I don't really know why. It was just the 70s thing that you did back then, and they've stayed there ever since. I've got a set of standard rims and hubcaps tucked away though. When I can afford some red lines, that'll go on eventually, but I've got to wear out those tyres first.
What's the reaction to the car?
Every time it goes out, someone looks at it, someone waves, someone yells at a set of traffic lights. You know, I just get thumbs up everywhere I go. It's really special. All the other old cars I've driven, you don't get that as much. You still get looked at, but this, you're just an Aussie icon, and people look at you and they recognise it.
You've spent a little bit of time driving an MGA occasionally, and so which of the two gets more attention?
Definitely the Monaro. Dad's MGA, it's still a lovely car, but just people know Monaros. That's what they identify with.
So there we have it, folks. Pat Hughes and this absolutely gorgeous 1969 Monaro. Pat, thanks for coming on Love This Ride.
That's not a problem. Really appreciate it.
So Love This Ride, I'm Gary Worrell. We'll see you next time.